What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Not too much.
I'm Jay.
I'm Ben.
And we're here to do some cool live sound at the Wilson County Fair full of rides and beautiful people.
Hopefully we're going to try to get some sound from our front of house and get into our monitors without hurting anybody's ears.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that safety is key here.
Safety is always key.
Exactly.
Please remember that, guys.
Yes.
This is a professional job. This isn't something that you could just go and do without any experience.
Exactly.
Let's go get to it.
All right.
What's up, guys? Ben here with a lesson in signal flow on our main soundboard. We just plugged our microphone into the input, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline how that signal flows through the board. We're going to come in and hit our mic pre. It's the first thing that we hit, which is our gain, and that's going to allow us to turn it up or down. Once we hit the gain and we've got a gain structure, we're going to hit the EQ. That's going to change the frequencies any way you want to, pulling them in and out. Once we go through the EQ, we're then going to go to our aux sends. Once the aux sends are hit, we're going to hit our pan. That'll allow us to go left or right on the board. And once the signal flow is hit here, we're actually in our main mix now. This is what's going to go to the output channels of the board. This is our buttons that would select which bus we want to hit. And once we have a button selected and sound coming through, I can bring this fader up. And down here on my mains, I'll come through the main soundboard from that signal flow. And that pretty much covers the basics for signal flow through a front of house board. What we went ahead and did is create a front of house mix. We have inputs coming in on all our channels. We're going to take all that sound from all these different levels and come to our outputs, main left and right. This is our main output bus. And I'm going to turn this up, and that signal is going to come out of here, go to the front of our board, and come out our left and right outputs because we're running stereo. Now, after the stereo output for the board, we're going to hit the next location in our signal flow, which is our front of house EQ for left and right. And that covers our signal flow at the front of house board.
Oh, man.
Oh no, we don't want to put any water around the board. That's a definite safety concern, man.
What do you mean?
Water gets inside the board, any moisture in here, and it can completely toast everything by shorting out the board.
Oh, okay. Then I guess we won't do that ever again.
No. Now that we left our house EQ, we come out of the back of the EQ, run it down the snake, and come back to this location on the stage. Those left and right outputs are entering our crossover here and here, left and right. And once they leave the crossover, they're going to be broken into 3 different frequencies: high, medium, and low. Those frequencies are going to go out through 3 different cables down into high, medium, and low amp channels for 3 different speakers in the front of house setup. Now once they enter the amps from these connections, they're going to come out of the power amp section of the amp here, here, and here. And that's where our speakers are actually hardwired and connected to our amps.
What's up, guys? Jay again, and I want to go over the crossover a little more. So we choose how much the input level is into the crossover. Then we're going to set our low frequency, and that's going to be sent to our subs. And then we have our mids and highs, and that sets up where your mids are going to be. The rest are going to go straight to the horn at the top of the monitor. Now, from this crossover, we're going straight into our power amplifiers. So we turn those on, crank up the volume, and now we have sound.
What's up, guys? Ben and Jay here with another little lesson on signal flow with our monitor rack on stage. Jay, why don't you tell us how that's working?
All right, so now that we have set up our aux 1, 2, 3, and 4 on our main front of house board, we want to make sure that that's going to the right place. So it goes right into these 4 EQ channels that we have set up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that process: board, then EQ.
Exactly.
And what happens after that, Ben?
Well, once we get the signal from the board into the EQ rack, we're going to come out of the back of the rack with a 1/4-inch jack, and we're going to go down the side of the amp and into the line input on the back of the amps. As you can see here, it's just a 1/4-inch jack being plugged in where it says high-level inputs for 1/4-inch. We're not using the balanced input because there's no need for it in the distance here. So after we get to the amp, what happens for sound to get to this?
So once it's plugged in, we want to make sure that it's going out to our monitors, of course. So the way we do that is we put some outputs here: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, Some wires may be a little different, so let's talk about one of them in particular. How about this one?
Well, this is actually what they call a banana clip, and it actually allows you to plug either polarity, plus or minus, in. And the only way you're going to know how that's going to happen is because there's a knob on the side of this. You want to feel that knob and make sure you match that to the negative or black connector on the back of your amp. Otherwise, you'll get a reverse movement of your speaker, which doesn't sound very good, Jay.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And I don't want to give you a joke about knobs. Alright guys, so I'm going to turn on all my amps, and now we're going to go plug it all in.
No. Always make sure you turn the power off at the breaker before energizing any amps, causing circuit overload. That's a safety tip from Ben today. Now that we have no signal coming from our front of house board or our monitor board, we're going to go ahead with the power sequence on the monitor rack. We start out up here with our Thermin powered on. That's energizing all the equipment in this rack. We're going to make sure we have all our EQs on. And we're going to go ahead with the power on the amps. Now the amps are turned on and everything's switched. You can hear it click actually when it happens. You can go ahead and engage your volume with all your amps.
What's up guys, Jay here, and I wanted to go over something called a snake. Now some of you guys may be wondering, when instrumental is plugged into the stage, how is it showing up all the way back there at the front of house? Well, it's pretty simple. They use what's called a snake. Now, on your board you have up to 16 or 32 channels, and that is going to be connected through a big wire to right here. And the instrumentals can plug in, essentially making an extension cord.